I saw recently on YouTube, I want to say maybe about a month ago, you had done an interview with Kitco, and I was looking for the pin. I was like, oh, wait, where's the pin? Where's the pin?
Well, they may have prompted me not to put someone else's show on their show,
I,
but
I, I figured. I figured. Everybody, I am really excited to have a friend of mine back here on the program, Alastair Still. It's so good to see you. It's been, I want to say, like 6 months or a year since I've had you on here last. How have you been?
I've been very well, very pleased to be back here, and really excited to tell you about a news story for your listeners today.
And I'm really excited to see that you actually wore the pin again. This is the second time I've seen it on there. And
Well,
so I appreciate the support.
you're tapping into the inner Star Wars fanatic here. So when you you send me a pin like that, of course I'm going to wear it.
I saw recently on YouTube, I want to say maybe about a month ago, you had done an interview with Kitco, and I was looking for the pin. I was like, oh, wait, where's the pin? Where's the pin?
Well, they may have prompted me not to put someone else's show on their show,
I've,
but
I've, I figured, I figured. But no, listen, we got a lot of stuff to cover. There's been so much action that's going on right now with gold. I've been talking about it consistently on the channel because we are in very odd times. You have the Fed raising interest rates to combat, inflation. We have gold still staying above the $2,000 mark, and this seems to be like a new floor. I mean, it's really been hanging strong for quite a while, and with the Fed raising interest rates, a lot of people expected that the prices of gold would have dropped, but they're still like really holding on strong. And I kind of want to get your take on all of this because it's hard for a lot of people to make any sense of it.
well, I'm the first thing I would like to point out. I'm glad you're thinking of it as a new floor for gold because I'm thinking the same thing because
Mm-hmm.
this really is not like the peak of where it's going to go. I think there's plenty of room to go higher. So I think it is a floor, good way to think of it. The Fed really only has so much room to raise interest rates. We're starting to see that slow down, plateau, and maybe even sort of hinting that they'll start coming down. This is all pointing towards a perfect storm for an increased price of gold. Coupled with the fact that the producers have had declining reserves for a number of years, this is a great scenario to be investing in gold. I think this is just the beginning of a sustained and continued bull run here.
Yeah. No, I really do agree. And, my perspective is a bit different from yours because you're running a publicly traded company, actually a couple publicly traded companies. And I'm looking at precious metals from the physical standpoint as a reseller, and I'm constantly monitoring the spot prices because for me I need to be buying gold when it's advantageously low for myself because then I could sell it at a higher price point for my customers. And the reason why I do believe in the fact that this is a new floor is because this seriously has been like a consistent long period of time where we've seen gold just staying strong above these $2,000 marks. Yeah, it dropped down, to the upper 1900s maybe about a week or so ago, and then it just shot right back up again. And here we see it staying at these rates. So, I've been urging a lot of people to buy, physical gold at the very least, and also be investing as well.
Well,
Um,
I subscribe to that too. And of course, don't forget when people say, "Oh, it's at a it's topped an all-time high." Well, maybe in absolute dollars, but in real dollar terms, the
mm,
price when it peaked in the early 80s, you inflation adjusted those back to today's value. We're nowhere near the highs that we reached in the early 80s on inflation adjusted gold price. So I still think there's plenty of room left for this price to continue an upward trend here.
Now, I know you don't have a crystal ball. I like to kind of poke fun every once in a while to people that do make predictions. And I did a video maybe about a month or so ago, and I put my own prediction as to where I see gold heading for this year. I'm just curious, where do you see the potential for gold this year?
I'm a little hesitant to put a fixed number on it, but what I will say with pretty good confidence is that I would be shocked if we saw much of this year with the price below 2000 at all. So I
I
think it's
agree.
definitely going to stay in the 2000s and upwards from there. And remembering, of course, these are the good gold prices. And the company we're going to talk about here in a minute here, we've calculated resources at $1,600 per ounce.
Wow.
So a price of $2,000 or more is a great level, and I think there's plenty of runway here still to run on this.
So, speaking of the new company that we wanted to discuss, you are the chairman for a newly traded company on the NASDAQ, U.S. GoldMining Inc. Tell us all about the company.
Well, it's an exciting new story. We've just completed our IPO on the 24th of April. We raised $20 million. The new company is called U.S. GoldMining Inc. It's founded by a core group of industry veterans, like myself. We've brought in some experienced team members to develop and move forward a project in Alaska, which we think is one of the great jurisdictions for mining on the planet, not just in the U.S., but in the planet. It's a sizable resource, $9.5 million, shows good value. We raised $20 million on the NASDAQ and have a compelling value story and this project, which we've just taken public.
So, I'm just looking at some numbers. You right now looks like you have a market cap of just over $100 million. You just spoke about the 20 million bucks that you guys raised. And market right now, it's valuing your company at around 9.4 million ounces of a gold resource equivalent, looking like $10 an ounce compared with the global median of $40 an ounce. So there's tremendous upside potential, clearly. Do you want to speak to that a little bit more too?
Yeah, absolutely. We think this is priced extremely with good value, and we talk about an average, enterprise value per resource ounce. We can talk about $30 or $40 per ounce. At $10 per ounce, it's screaming good value, particularly with a project of quality and size in a great jurisdiction. And just to give one perfect example of that, the CEO we've brought in to run this company, a very close colleague of mine, Tim Smith, we brought him over from Newmont, the largest mining company in the world, gold mining company. He came and left them to come work on this project.
No.
He's an experienced professional geologist who's worked in the north before. He made a major discovery in Yukon, right beside Alaska, and company I used to be with called Goldcorp, which was one of the largest gold mining companies in the world at the time, bought his project for over $500 million in 2016. And the price they paid at that time was close to $130 per ounce. So you
No.
can imagine the success he's had selling a
Wow.
project to the majors for $130 per ounce.
Yeah.
And we're coming out the gate here at about $10 per ounce. You can see that there's a great runway, a great opportunity for value growth with this stock.
So, what are some of the plans to kind of unlock that value?
Absolutely. We've hit the ground running here. We're assembling a team. We're getting ready to commence fieldwork this summer.
Okay.
The beauty of this project is it's only about 100 miles northwest of Anchorage, by far the biggest city in Alaska. So we have easy access to Anchorage. We have an airstrip at site. We had a winter road going this winter. There's an existing camp there that needs refurbishing. So we're going to reactivate the camp. We will be drilling this summer and really focusing on the quality core part of this deposit. And I think that's an important part here. We could talk about a sizable resource of a combined 9.5 million gold equivalent ounces, but really what gets us excited, there's a core portion of that. There's
Hmm.
about 6 million ounces in the core of the deposit that's running about a gram per ton gold equivalent, which is an exceptional grade for a deposit of that size. That really puts into an elite group of high grade open pitable deposits at those type of grades. That's what gets us very excited. Those are some of the targets in the areas we want to prove up and expand on with the initial drilling programs.
Okay, so it's in the early phases. You said that you're gonna refurbish this existing location, this existing camp, and you're gonna start drilling this summer. When do you expect to drill this summer? Are you looking like July, August?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's, we're still waiting for a little bit of melt to finish up there where we are,
Okay.
get the snow off the ground and getting our crews and our final contracts in place and our teams ready. But this is a target, don't forget also, it hasn't been drilled since 2011. So
Okay.
more than 10 years since it's been touched. It's been sitting in an environment where everything's been rising around it, including an important part of this deposit, which is the component of copper. But 30% of the resource is copper. When we bought this project, copper was trading at about a buck 50 a pound.
Mm.
The current pricing of copper is near enough to $4 a
Yep.
pound. So
Yep.
copper now makes up about 30% of the value of the resource. And it's an important piece. It's a strategic metal designated by the state of Alaska. So they're encouraging development, trying to open up areas for this. So that's a couple of key things that have changed and became great catalysts to reactivate the project now.
So let me ask you, kind of going back to some of the earlier points that we were talking about with inflation and the Fed raising interest rates. Being that inflation continues to stay persistently high, what do you see that doing in terms of impacting the business? Is that going to negatively impact operations in any way? Just kind of give us your thoughts on how that's going to work into the formula here.
Well, I think we're in a very advantageous position because we're not at a state where we're in the capital spend mode for developing the project and putting it into production or having operating costs. Our costs are very modest and very manageable because they're in the US, so we can control things. We're not worried about some foreign currency running away on us,
Mm.
things we can't control. So very fortunate to be in the US and having the chance to moderate our costs. The fact that we've got a camp that's pre-existing to be refurbished means we can control our costs very well. We're not going to be exposed to inflation that some of the companies who are in the middle of a huge, capital spend might be exposed to right now. So it has a limited impact on us as it would be compared to projects who are more in the advanced stages of capital development or operating mines.
Now, how long ago did USGO go? US, yeah, I'm just saying USGO so people know that the ticker's there. I have it displayed on the screen as well. But how long ago did the company actually go public?
We just closed the financing on April 24th. So this
Oh,
is this
brand
is
new.
literally a brand new company. It's out just out the door, just out the gates. It got off to a great start. The market, I think, is starting to recognize that the exceptional value here that
Yeah,
we are ascribing to this. There's short-term opportunities, long-term games. It's a great value play, and I think you start looking at the key pieces on a company. It's what does the operating team look like? What are the assets? Where are they? All these things point to good value. You've got a sizable deposit with quality, led by a good team, and one of the best jurisdictions in the world, and right here in the U.S. It's a perfect combination.
awesome. So before we sign off, is there any other information that you wanted to add that I may have forgotten to ask you about, or where can people go to learn a little bit more about the company?
Yeah, we were just we're getting ready to launch our website. We've got the initial pages of it ready now, and there's a
Okay,
presentation there. So very easy to find us online. It's www.us.goldmining.com, and you can go there, check out the site, sign up for our newsletter. We can send updates and the information as soon as it becomes available. I know there's been a flurry of people signing up to the site already.
nice.
And I guess one other catalyst that's important to mention is, it's great to see the support from the state of Alaska. The
Mm,
state of Alaska has announced plans for a road to resources program. They're encouraging economic development. In fact, they're putting state dollars to work to study building a road corridor that would connect our project right to the ports just outside of Anchorage.
perfect.
And they've announced starting that road in 2025. So another great reason that bodes well for the success of this project.
Very, very good. Listen, I'm very excited for you and the new company. It sounds like a great opportunity. Everybody that is watching this video, definitely check out the company. I'm going to put the URL down below in the description. And Alastair, I really do appreciate you for coming on, spending some time with us, shedding some light on everything that's going on with gold, and telling us about your company. And I really do appreciate the fact that you're still sporting that pin. So, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me on here. Always a pleasure to update you and your listeners. I'm very excited about US gold mining, USGO on the NASDAQ. It's a great time to be investing in gold.
Thank you so much, Alastair. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, you bet. Take care.